This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, and this is Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends. I'm trying not, listen, there's an atmosphere here, and it's easy to do so when you have a lot of guys. So first off, Andrea, I know you're surrounded by men.
I love it.
You work. I know, though, you have to remember, it's kind of sometimes, we're trying to stay away from the locker room mentality.
Yeah.
James knows that.
I
walked in the back.
Oh,
It's
no.
raining, man.
I walked in the back.
Hallelujah.
James.
Don't believe him.
We have a dressing room. Listen, Jackson, we have a dressing room, right?
Okay. Yes.
James apparently doesn't know we have a dressing room.
I was hurrying up.
And James,
I was hurrying up.
James, man. And he's like, oh, man. And didn't even stop. And I was like, well, that's James.
I spent years in locker rooms.
So
and just go with the flow.
I tell you, when you go in the back there,
Yeah.
I'm coming in. I'm a female walking in this room.
I need to alert.
She
Alert.
keeps us in line, Jackson.
Oh,
You keep us all in
I
line.
love that. I love my boys. I do. I love my boys.
I got to bust you on that. And I don't know if you're turning red or not. Are you embarrassed?
Yeah, I think he is turning red. I see him turning shade red.
Hey.
Well, I was in the dressing room changing while he was probably changing
Probably so.
outside.
Hey, it
And
is
so-
what it is. I'm just trying to
It
hurry
is
up.
what it is. And
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it's like a
Oh,
locker
my
room.
God.
It is indeed. But
They're
this is a
great
one.
today. They're
Yeah,
great.
it is. He's the guy that you need to go through in order to be a part of our show. Sweet baby James.
I got me crying. 219 stations.
I had to bust
across
on
the
you, dude.
country.
Riches were down on the ground, dude.
I wonder what was happening because when they came out of the dressing room, he was zipping up his pants. Like, okay, that explains it.
Across the globe, you can find us on the American Forces Network. If you go through our social sites and our website, thedailyflashshow.com, and click on where to watch, you can find out where we are in your neck of the woods. And you can also sound off on the question of the day. Are you ready?
Yes.
What is it?
If you could pause time, what would you do first?
Ooh.
If you could
Speaking
pause
of locker
time,
rooms.
what would you do first?
Pause time.
Well, I don't, like meaning like a period of time, like,
Yep,
okay.
if you pause it.
Yeah, there's, we
would you
always,
do first?
no one understands that right now, this moment, it could be the best time of your
Yeah.
life because you don't know what the future is,
That
right?
is true.
Right.
So I guess it would be, I would go and try to find out lottery numbers. I would do it for my benefit. What about you, Jackson?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. These time travel questions are always so tough for me because I feel like you really have to live in the now. And then I also kind of buy into that whole, you can't really change the past because if you do, it changes
Right,
everything
right,
in the
right.
future. So I buy into that notion. I don't know. That's a really good question.
I think when you have kids, you think of this now, like, okay, I wish I would have paused time back then because they're, we want them to grow up so fast and be their own. And then now I look at pictures and videos and I was like, man, remember when they were just like this, and so moldable and that's what, so I guess kind of like that. But I guess if I pause right now, I would have
What would you
to. I would have to plan for it.
Yeah.
What would you do first? That's a good question.
that's
How about
hard.
you?
I would.
James?
I would try on all of Jackson's shirts, see how I look in them, and then she puts them on. Like, why are these so big on me?
You look fabulous in them.
Oh wow, I don't have one. You know what? This is like looking at these questions. Like this is one of the hardest ones, so I couldn't come up with anything right now. But I want to know what you guys have to say.
Okay.
By going to our website, dailyflashshow.com. You can email me at flash@dailyflashshow.com too, and let me know.
If you ever want to calm down, James, just talk about what he does during the breaks. All right?
During the commercial
Before-
breaks.
and getting ready for the show.
Yes.
All right.
Very good.
We, of course, love to hearing from you. So please, Hugo says if we could pause time, James would show up on time.
Oh,
Shots fired. That's not fair. I'm here. I made it this morning, although I got
did
lost in
make
the
it.
airport thanks to my parents.
I love it. You always blame the parents.
Do
I
so.
like it.
20 minutes.
Okay, so this next story happened here locally in Central Florida, and it's just a good reminder. Be careful of people preying on those worried about their lost pets. Now, a Florida couple recently lost their dog. Well, they searched for the dog, but couldn't find him. What they did is they posted photos online along with their phone number. They received a call claiming the dog was hit by a car, needed emergency surgery, and in order for them to do the surgery, they needed to Zelle this person $3,000.
Wow.
Now, they were sent photos of the dog, believe it or not, on the operating table, but details on the photos didn't quite add up. The wrong color or wrong date stamp, but they used AI to create these photos. Luckily, the couple was savvy enough not to send any money. The dog was returned days later. Neighbor told the couple they saw someone take the dog, and then the same person return it a few days later. So just a reminder that now that we've got AI, there's this whole new level of scammery that is possible. But you look at these photos, and this is their dog on an operating table. And it's all manipulated by AI. Now, this person, when they sent the text, also said, you can go to a local drugstore, copy this QR code, and then you can send us the money this way, or you can send it via Zelle. They're like, wait a second, what vet takes Zelle? That doesn't make sense.
100%. And that's the logic you need to do. There is a great YouTube channel that I got down a rabbit hole with. Called Scammer Payback. I'd love to get the guy on the show because what he does, he's a hacker, but he's a hacker for us. And he goes over these companies that are in India, which will send emails, and then you do, okay, so this is kind of like the same thing, where it makes you feel like something's happened, and go here, do this, exact same setup. So they stop one lady for about to give $20,000, and they come to find out this was the second time it happened. It happened in Texas, and he went right up to her. The two police officers went up and said, "Hey, ma'am, you were being scammed."
Yeah.
She did not believe him because she had him that scared. Now, you look at this. What you're saying, you're showing pictures of, if it's an older family or older person, they won't know. They're not going to get that 100%. They're like, no, that's our dog. That is our dog. But they can do this so easily. I think it's that common sense thing that we think we have, but the Zelle. All right, let's say you're older. You don't know that. We figure, okay, well, they would probably offer Zelle. Not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Scary.
And then in one of the texts that the owner showed, they suggest, well, if you can't Zelle me, then you can go to CVS and use this barcode, and then you can send me money this way. It's like, so it's here it is right here, the bill pay part of it. So it's so bizarre that people can go to these lengths. And obviously, these people said that their dogs have gotten out before. But posting stuff on Facebook and online, it just opens yourself up to scammers galore. So had they not posted this picture of their dog, and a quick search on Facebook, let's take a look at the family, let's find out the pictures of the dog, and then they end up putting this together on an operating table.
So get this, imagine losing $1.6 million.
Okay, this happened?
How?
Yes, a guy by the name of Ron Williams, happened in the Northeast. 76-year-old got fooled by AI love scam. It made it look like it seemed an Asian lady was falling, he was falling in love with the young Asian lady. They were going back and forth. She was talking to him about investments. He gave over his life savings, $1.6 million.
Oh my God.
The guy worked very hard to get that, and then he's probably embarrassed to want to say and ask, "Do you think this is a scammer?" Because so the advice right now that I remember getting a call from my mother one time saying, "Is everything all right?" She goes, "I got a call. You were in jail, right?"
No.
Remember that scam that was going around?
Yes.
I go, "Mom, no, I'm totally fine, yada, yada." But I think if you are older, or if in doubt, just ask. And don't be afraid. Wouldn't you rather be embarrassed than $1.6 million in debt?
1.6.
That pride takes over. The best thing to do is that, let's say you're not computer savvy, maybe call a relative, somebody that maybe is before you send any money. They will do and scare you. If you watch this Scammer Payback channel, I'm telling you, you would think, because you can kind of listen to the scammers how they do it. They are relentless. They will stay on the phone for 5 hours just to get something. And for them to go to this length to show you, there's obviously people have done it before, and it's worth their time.
And it's still working.
And it's still working.
I mean, if you're spending 5 hours, you got somebody on the hook, you can make $20,000, $30,000 in 5 hours.
And if they go, well, listen, no, this is real because they know they knew stuff that nobody else would know. Oh no, you think that they can find out that information offline. It's not like that it can happen. So if that happens to you, no matter what age you are, just just tell somebody.
Yep.
Tell
Be
somebody.
careful of the text too, because that's where it
Text-
starts
yes.
sometimes.
Well, the issue
God,
too
it's
is
scary.
now with AI, everything you post on social media, your voice, your image, your videos, all of that can be manipulated to a scammer's delight.
And it's only going to get even harder. We
Yeah.
want to hear your thoughts. Maybe something happened to you. Before we go to break, though, it's our Brain Flash question of the day. What's the name of the island in Jurassic Park? Know it? Answer's coming up next.
It's not news. It's not nonsense. It's that weird place in between. Opinion-ish. It's not news. It's not nonsense. It's that weird place in between. Opinion-ish. Coming soon.
Hey, welcome back to the big show. Let's see if you got today's Brain Flash question correct. Here's the question. What is the name of the island in Jurassic Park? Isla Nublar. There you go. James actually knew that one. He yelled it out right in the commercial break. Hey, welcome back to the big show. Mitch English here. And, as AI reshapes the workforce, a major ripple effect is actually unfolding, and not just in jobs, but in housing markets all across the country. Here with some insight is Tatiana Zagorovski. She's with Trio Realty Partners to give us a little bit of an insight on all of this. How does this AI, Tatiana, AI job loss, actually, how is it impacting housing?
Hey, Mitch, happy to be here. AI job loss impacts housing through income, like any other job loss. When stable paychecks disappear, fewer people can qualify for loans, and some households start to struggle with payments. So that creates a chain reaction, weaker demand, more caution from lenders, and eventually more pressure on prices.
It makes a lot of sense. There's something called a housing freeze. What is that? Tell me more about, this freeze that could actually affect the United States.
Well, a housing freeze is early stage before we can see the real distress in the housing markets, because when we see massive layoffs, it doesn't impact the real estate market immediately. It will take probably between 6 to 18 months to see the real impact on real estate, because immediately after huge job losses, people still continue making their payments, but slowly but surely, less people will be qualified for mortgages, so lenders will become more cautious, less people will be able to afford loans, the demand for housing will drop, and that's how the freeze works.
It makes a lot of sense there. Generally we always talk about blue collar jobs and how they're at risk, but this specifically talking about white collar jobs. Why are they so critical?
Because white collar jobs are traditionally the most stable borrowers, and people who buy more high-end homes. And now with AI coming to the picture, this category of people will be impacted.
All right, so we're looking at cities all across the country. Which ones do you feel are actually most at risk, first off?
Well, most at risk will be cities with large concentration of administrative works, government jobs, things like that.
Makes sense.
More people in white collar jobs, industry, financial sectors too.
So it sounds like, Tatiana, if we follow where there's a higher amount of white collar jobs, we actually could see this huge change in the housing market. Makes a lot of sense. But what should homeowners do right now to prevent that?
Well, there are two things I strongly recommend every homeowner to do and at least think about. First of all, get their finances in a row. Don't overspend. Make sure you have some, safety nest that you can use in case something unexpected happens. But more importantly, I truly believe that everyone should adapt to new technology, because people who are experts in their fields and know how to utilize AI and new technologies to benefit their jobs, they will be more secure. They are not going anywhere.
You are correct. Yeah, and you think about it, AI is not going to go anywhere. It is here. We need to deal with it now before the problem is sitting right on top of us. Great insight there, Tatiana. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, if you want to find out more, head over to where we buy homes in St. Louis.com. We'll also share this interview as well as a link to our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
Well, here's something for Disney fans. Disneyland will close 2 iconic attractions over the summer. The monorail will be shuttered for the first time in more than 65 years. According to Inside the Magic, Disney announced that the monorail will be out of service for renovations. Word has it they are doing a full digital upgrade and plan to update the network's electrical system. And the park is also shutting down the Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin for renovations on the same day. The attraction, located in Mickey's Toontown, has been open since 1994. No reopening date has been announced yet for either attraction.
And that's got to be a big thing with the monorails, right? Because that's how they get everybody around. And it's amazing how that works with, I could see it needing a digital because it's all computerized. I think sometimes the guy in the front is just there for a break, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they can control them remotely. So.
Yeah, and that monorail, like you mentioned, at Disneyland, that's how you get around the entire park. Not so much here at Disney World because you have different options, but Disneyland for sure.
Can I say something too? They're now checking, so if you go to Disney Springs and take a bus to go somewhere else, you now have to show that you are, you have to show a pass at Disney World.
Do you really?
I think a lot of people were taking advantage of it. Or show that you're staying at a resort.
Yeah.
So that's a new rule that they've started. If you come down to Orlando and you're going to Disney Springs and want to take the bus.
That used to be a hack, now it's saved.
No mas.
Yeah. Well, you got to love this story. An 11-year-old boy in Wyoming made the kind of discovery most of us only see in museums. While rock hunting in Wyoming with his grandparents, he found a 48-million-year-old fossil. Turns out it's a soft-shelled turtle that once lived in an ancient tropical lake. The young discoverer helped with the excavation, got to name his find. He chose the name Little Timmy. Today, the fossil is on display at the Tate Geological Museum at Casper College. It serves as a reminder that sometimes incredible discoveries happen during everyday family outings, and most importantly, curiosity can lead to extraordinary finds.
All right, now, I want to say this kid is awesome. Right here, keep it up because he's not playing video games. He's not,
right?
On his electric bike. He is rock hunting with his grandparents. That's love.
That's an old soul.
That's an old soul, and he's doing it because he wants to spend time. So right when you said that, I go, he must have been bored out of his mind. But no, he wasn't. He found something really cool.
I know.
So kids, spend time with your grandparents. I'm not a grandparent yet. So.
We're back right after this.
Welcome back to the Daily Flash. I'm James Alexander along with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Here's your question of the day. Would you rather be famous or completely unknown, and why? Guys, what you think?
Well, I want to be completely unknown. That's why I'm doing this show. And
This is true. But you made a good point during the commercial break, and that is sometimes you can be famous for really not so great stuff. So maybe it's not so great being famous.
Yeah, exactly.
In certain
you're
circles.
limited sometimes to what you're famous for.
Right.
So good stuff. And we want to hear from you, and they can drop us an email, of course, where they need to go, James.
Yeah, you can go to the Flash at dailyflashshow.com for the email. They can sound off by going to dailyflashshow.com, and we'll have some fun.
All right,
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. We love to make you a big part of our show. Well, listen to this story. New York Governor Kathy Hochul spared a Long Island granddad's license plate from getting flushed down the toilet after the DMV tried to revoke his tags. The 69-year-old driver had sported the license plate P before we go. For more than 5 years, the owner received a letter saying the plates had to go.
Oh, man.
Well, the notice stated that a recent review found the message to be inappropriate for street use. The driver personally appealed to the governor for help. In the end, Hochul said New York should support his plates message, P before we go.
She wound up calling him directly and saying, "Hi, this is the governor." She
Really?
did, and said, "Sorry that this happened to you. You can keep the plates." He was very, very grateful that she listened.
Of all of the terrible things that seem to be happening in New York City. This is what they're concerned about?
I think it's funny. I
do too.
How you find that offensive? Everybody does it. Number
Yeah.
one, and it's something. I mean, if you're traveling through New York and you're playing the license plate game, you'd win double points with that.
You'd want to win with that one.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, from killing squirrels to canceling license plates. What is happening in New York?
And then they have a communist mayor.
yeah.
It's crazy. Moving forward, a kindergarten teacher now facing some criticism after taking her young students on a field trip and tying them together with a rope, all to prevent them from getting lost. Well, those in favor actually argue that managing a large group of very young children in a busy public space, it actually could be a pretty big challenge. Some schools use walking ropes with handles as a safety tool during field trips. But critics claim that tying kids together crosses a line that raises concerns about safety and proper training. A lot of people question what policies the school had in place to protect students during their field trip. Something I'm sure it doesn't look as if these kids are like forced. It makes a lot of sense. One of the coolest things I saw is a stroller for like 6 kids. You ever seen one of those before?
Oh,
those are kind of fun. But come on, I mean, I can understand, if one of them fell down, but it looks like it was done properly.
I have no problem with this because, God forbid one of these kids ends up wandering off. Then what's worse, having them connected together or having them all kind of going in a million different directions like herding cats. I mean, it's a safety issue. I'd rather them be doing this than letting them go along the sidewalk on a busy street because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. The only issue I have about this is they should be pulling a wagon. I think that'd be kind of nice with all the food in it and everything. Hey-ya! Somebody in the back. Come on now. Get on now. Get on.
I have seen parents, with maybe one or 2 kids, or one kid on a leash, which, look, I'm not a parent, so I can't tell you how to parent, but I get it for certain safety reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a kid that's squirrely and you're trying to keep a hold of him and it's hard to. You'd rather be safe than sorry.
Those kids are cute though, man. Look at them.
They are adorable.
Really
I love the little one with the hat.
They all got those bucket hats on.
So cute. A plus-size model claims she was denied life insurance for weighing over 300 pounds.
Okay.
Now, she says the system is broken, accuses the company of being fat-phobic. Last fall, the model accused a flight attendant of telling her she should lose weight. Her claims were never verified.
All right, so I just went through some life insurance policies, and since I updated mine, since I did, I actually had lost weight, and I'm in a BMI. However, they'll send you back a thing. Hey, we quoted you this, but we had to go a little bit higher because they get some questions about your health and everything afterwards. And I was perplexed. Even my agent had no idea why they said that my height and weight was a factor because I typed it all in with my BMI and I'm like average with it. And he said sometimes that's how it happens. Life insurance policies have to do that. You're not healthy. I know you want everybody to think that you're healthy, but you're not. But with that much weight on, you're adding a lot. It's just as if you had, some kind of other disorder or disease or that sort of thing, which, you can't have it both ways. Is obesity a disorder? Is it a disease? Is it, what is it?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways and then expect life insurance policies to be okay with it.
Well, and the same goes with flights. You can't go on a flight and expect to take up 2 seats and then only be charged for, demand to be only charged for 1 and then lash out at the flight attendants for telling you that, look, you're going to need a seat extender. Her claims were never verified, but clearly, it looks like she's after money.
Or notoriety.
Notoriety,
as well.
yeah.
And I get it because I've been there. I've been just as big as this woman before, and I understand. But that's the facts of life.
Yeah.
And even back then, I realized that's.
And
the
you're
facts
right.
of life.
It's not healthy.
That's unhealthy. All right, we got more of today's talk, tomorrow's trends. Anything you have heard us talk about, we want to hear your thoughts on it. Send us an email.
This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, today's trends, tomorrow's talk. Before we do anything, we like to check in with James Alexander. He's got his eye on our stations across the nation.
Yes,
Hey.
all 219 stations across this great country of ours. And the American Forces Network, where you can watch us globally. Okay. Now, if you really want to check out where we are in your neck of the woods, just go to dailyflashshow.com and click on where to watch. And our local friends today come from.
You that Michael Jackson thing.
I know.
La Crosse, Wisconsin.
La Crosse.
Yes.
Oh, which means in French, the cross.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know if you knew that.
Oui.
I didn't know that. See, I didn't pop up. I
Merci.
said I'm learning stuff, right?
I don't know if that's true.
El Cross. El Cross in Spanish. Is it El Cross in Spanish? My bad. All right. KQEG TV, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So what
Some
I
things
learned
about
about
lacrosse.
lacrosse. Named after the sport.
Oh.
Okay. That's why they came
Of
up with
lacrosse,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
that's
sport
cool.
lacrosse.
All right.
All right. So.
All right. That beer. They love the beer there in Wisconsin.
Hey, yo, it produces more beer than any other city. It once produced more beer than any other city in Wisconsin. You know, Milwaukee is the place to be when it comes to
Milwaukee.
Schlitz
Milwaukee.
malt liquor.
Hops and pepper. I can't ever
And-
remember. Hops and pepper.
A woman saved Granddad Bluff from being quarried away. So it was a special place in La Crosse, which
Okay.
could have been another quarry, but she's a philanthropist. She paid for it not to be
Granddad Bluff, that sounds like a card
say.
game.
It does. La Crosse, what you got going up there? You know, what's happening up there? What y'all gambling? I know it's a casino up there somewhere.
I got the old Granddad Bluff going on here.
We'd love to know where you're watching us from. Just send us, hey, we're watching you here in such and such city, so we
That's
can
it.
feature it here. We love learning about these little cities. I didn't know
yeah.
that La Crosse was named after that. That's
Yep,
interesting.
Named after La Crosse.
I love that.
That's dope.
Here's some things that are happening around the world. Lots of times we talk about the bad stuff, but sometimes it's just the good things that are going on. There's a barista with Down syndrome has actually become really a viral sensation in Indonesia. A cafe partnered up with 7 young adults with Down syndrome, and they handle shifts 3 days a week. A heartfelt video was posted of showing their work, and it's drawn some widespread praise. Ultimately, the story reminds us, of course, that individuals with Down syndrome can thrive in high-pressure roles, helping them to dismantle some of the social stigmas in Asia. One thing that I appreciate is at, I'm going to call them out because I think it's a good thing. Here at Publix, which is kind of the southeast,
Yes.
they hire, at least the one near me, they hire, help me out with the correct word to call it this. I don't want to, I don't want to say
Developmentally
Challenge.
disabled.
but as workers.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the best. Like they go up above and beyond, and so happy to be there.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times when you go into places and it's just they don't want to be there.
Right.
These are people that love what they're doing and they love serving other people. And so when we see this, and it's happening in other countries, like in Indonesia, it shows us a lot of compassion that we all can do one little thing. And every time I go into Publix and I see that, it reminds me of that. So much so that there were twins that both of them were developmentally challenged, and one of them died. And I don't know how he died, but they put up a little vigil for him, and I miss that. He was always smiling.
Right, just having fun.
And it's good to see stuff like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It's a good reminder, but it also shows you that we all have value no matter what.
Yes.
Sometimes we see, well, this person can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One small thing, right?
Yep, one small thing.
I encourage people, try out or volunteer for the Special Olympics. Dope.
Great
Yes.
idea. A great idea
Excellent.
for that. And
Yeah.
if you want to pass on
Yeah.
where folks can actually sign up to be able to
Yes.
do that in
Just
your
go to
city,
the website.
Yeah.
we want to share that. We can put it on our website and promote it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Know somebody that's doing that, or maybe know somebody that needs a little bit of just, hey, this is a great person, or maybe a great establishment that is wanting to do sort of things
Yeah.
like this. Tell us, because we want everybody to know.
And we can share that good news
dope.
with you.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Share it with
We
me.
got more Daily Flash coming up right around the corner. Don't you go anywhere. We love having you along for the ride.
Stay with us. We're back right after this.
It's not news. It's not nonsense. It's that weird place in between. Opinion-ish. Coming soon.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Flash. Look, it's time for Help My Home. I'm Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson.
We've got some great DIY tips for your home, all about having the right tools that are easy to use. Here's DIY expert Kristen McGowan with more.
If you're doing any wall painting around your home, especially floor to ceiling wall painting, you need an extendable roller stick. I will not paint a room without this extendable roller stick. This goes from 2 feet to 4 feet, I think, and it allows me to reach all the way to the ceiling and all the way to the bottom edge without stepping on a ladder, without bending up and down. You can really roll out your paint very quickly using an extendable roller. So this is really the only way to get painting done around your home quickly and easily. You can pick these up at the paint store. You can pick them up on Amazon. There's different versions. Some have a little bit more padding than others. You can have extendable rollers that go even longer. So make sure you get the size that works with your space, but trust me, this is a must-have for any DIY. Now, something that comes in handy for every single project, even if it doesn't require any painting, is painter's tape. I use painter's tape on probably every single project because it's the perfect tool or supply that helps me visualize what I'm about to do. It helps me kind of plan out projects. It also helps me create level lines and really good spacing. I use painter's tape every time I put up wall art because it is that temporary thing that can stick to the wall that you can use to mark different areas before you go ahead and install anything. So this helps you avoid a lot of mistakes, I would say. So if you're doing any project, I would get a roll of painter's tape and plan the whole thing out with tape first. I do this with picture frame molding placement. And of course I use it every single time I paint to get clean lines. So it's always something that I have. It always comes in handy, and it's definitely something that everyone can use. Now, if you want to get any wall art up around your home quickly, easily, without any tools, you can do it all on your own using 3M drywall picture hangers. These claw hangers can just press into your drywall. They even come with the markers that help you plan out exactly where you want your hangers to be, so everything's hung perfectly. It's really the easiest way of hanging something heavy. So I've used the 65-pound claws on a full wall mirror that I hung, and then I used the 25-pound claws to hang smaller pieces. So they have different weight options that you can choose from just depending on what piece you're hanging. You don't even have to hit a stud using these drywall picture hangers. They just claw right onto the drywall and somehow hold the weight that it says. So
Like a
you just have to
J-hook,
make sure you're buying the right
and
weight
what you do is
capacity,
you just
but
make a
wow,
pinhole, and then it
yeah.
we're talking about
These things look great.
the hook. Yeah, these hooks. There's a J one where you can put it in, pull it up, then it has like a little hook you can do on that. So I
I
was trying to
love that
explain.
idea. The epoxy floor trend is dominating social media
Oh yeah,
feeds with reels featuring floors that look like they are straight out of a
these
storybook.
things are really cool. Here's one designer who is showing you the different ways you can actually create an epoxy floor with everything from swirls to roses to anime characters. Believe it or not.
Pour bronze and black onto the floor of the following room using the same careful blending techniques as before. Let the resin harden fully, then polish carefully and place the furniture with style. The next floor takes on a vast ocean-inspired style, blending blue and white with a clear, glossy layer on top. The result is a calm, flowing atmosphere that makes the space feel peaceful, airy, and inviting. One of my most unique ideas is using real flowers. Pour clear resin over the floor after covering it completely with blooms. The room looks like a fairy tale come to life. Then I return to my favorite metallic style. Pour white and gold epoxy, using long sweeping strokes to create elegant, flowing patterns that dance across the room. Add a layer of clear resin on top to give the entire floor a glossy finish. The floor makes the space feel more open, airy, and inviting. A cartoon character is created on the floor using sparkling, colorful stones. Once the design is complete, pour white resin over it and polish everything to achieve a perfect, flawless shine.
When our pets get sick, we turn to our veterinarians for their expertise, but behind the care they provide, some vets are facing increased stress and strain from the demands of their job. Joining us to share how pet lovers can show their appreciation is veterinarian Dr. Callie Harris with Purina. Doctor, what's causing the pressures so many veterinarians are facing?
So as veterinarians, our work is more than a job. It's truly a lifelong passion, caring for our pets. And we go through all the moments with our pet parents, from the happy moments to also the hardest ones. And that's gonna have an emotional toll on us as well. In fact, recent studies show that 75% of veterinarians experience some level of burnout at some point in their career.
So what can people do to recognize their veterinarians?
So it's going to sound so simple, but just a simple thank you, right? Just a moment of gratitude for your veterinarian. And in fact, at ProPlan Veterinary, we're inviting all pet owners to just offer that just note of thank you on thanks.proplanvet.com. And you have until May 31st to complete this.
And Doctor, where can our viewers go for more information?
Yeah, you can visit that same website of thanks.proplanvet.com.
Great topic, very important. Thanks so much again for joining us. We're going to post this information on our website at dailyflashtshow.com/FMI.
Let's move on with some trending news stories. McDonald's biggest burger has made it here in the United States. Now, this burger, it features, you ready? 2 quarter-pound beef patties, 3 slices of melted white cheddar cheese, crispy onions, slivered raw onions, lettuce, pickles, and a big arch sauce. Weighs in 14 ounces total compared to the 3.5 ounces of a standard burger. And with a big burger comes big calories. The new Big Arch Burger, you've probably seen it already on the McDonald's signs. It clocks in at 1,000 calories. That's nearly the amount of a complete Big Mac meal. That includes a fries and a medium Coke. That comes in at 1,100 calories. I don't know if it's going to catch on because, like I was listing everything on it, it didn't play as a song, you know, like the Big Mac, 2 all-beef special patties, lettuce, sauce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed.
But yeah,
didn't work.
Doesn't work as well.
No, not so much.
I have reservations about these fast food joints coming up with bigger and more crazy concoctions because I think the trend right now is people are starting to step away from that a little bit, you know, and realizing that a lot of that stuff isn't so great for them.
I went to, I can't remember where, I want to say maybe Burger King, I don't know. It was when Liza was out of town, so it was a fast food restaurant. But I said I wanted a medium drink, thinking I'd be fine. They hand me this thing. I'm telling you, this darn thing was this big.
Crazy?
And I go, that's the medium? She goes, yeah, you should see our large. And the lady showed the large. I'm like, I go, all right. I never wind up finishing it, you know, because I got to do it before I get home.
Yeah, that is true. Well, if you look at movie theaters, for instance, if you go to the movie theater and you want a small popcorn, I don't know if they even offer small popcorn anymore. I mean, you've got to get the big tub of popcorn, and the drink is, you know, this big. It's huge. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The ratio doesn't match
No,
what you're saying.
not at all.
Interesting thing about popcorn, when they first introduced it, it was a poor person's food. So like because you know, when they had the movies, you dress up and be really nice, but they realized that the amount of markup that you can make on popcorn is outrageous, insane. And so they go, you know, we can make a lot of money. And that's where movie theaters make their money, is in
the concessions. Very true. Well, doing homework in the future has a new look. A tech company has devised an AI homework agent named Einstein that will complete your homework assignments for you.
Wait.
The digital creation will log into a learning management program on the user's behalf. It watches lectures, it reads essays, writes papers, participates in discussions for you, even submits your homework, and no subject is off limits.
And then, so we're all worried about AI taking our jobs. We're taking them to college. We're giving them courses on how to do the job. Really, if you think about that.
I just think this is wrong on so many levels.
It's interesting that this did come up because a professor came out saying that they're getting smarter on knowing what is AI. And one of the words you can tell, outside of the dashes, the emphasis, if you see an emphasis dash a lot, that number one will tell you that it's AI. If they use the word moreover, and words like that, like nobody says that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But AI does, and so that's a flag. And then there's also ways where they can go, all right, you got your paper, I'm going to put it in here. Even my email right now says this looks like it was AI. It'll tell me it looks like it was AI.
Really?
Yeah. So I find that interesting. I mean, you're going to have one that's going to fight the other. And teachers are going to find ways to get around the way that you think that you're doing your job. And you're really just doing a disservice to yourself to have a computer do everything for you.
Well, I think there's always been ways to kind of shortcut learning. I mean, for us, it was Cliff Notes.
Yeah,
you know, if you got the Cliff Notes. But this takes it beyond a whole different level. I mean, this is basically somebody sitting in for you as a student, and you're not learning a darn thing.
And I would say with the Cliff Notes, you're still reading it. And you
yes.
have to, and to me, that's how my brain works, because I think if I had the Cliff Notes, or the Reader's Digest is what I always called it, version of something, it takes out all the stuff I really don't need to worry about, or maybe it doesn't think about that, but it'll give me the general idea. I'm more of a broad strokes guy, and I think with ADHD, that happens a lot.
Or sometimes if you get that, then at least you can understand the general premise of something, and then you can go back and read it and have a whole different experience.
All right, well, it started off as kind of a quirky offering from a funeral home, has actually blossomed into a full-blown trend in Japan. It's called coffin lying, okay? It's basically the practice of meditating inside of a coffin. It's giving people a safe place to contemplate their mortality or just recharge. Companies who are promoting their coffin lying services have said that this kind of meditation is useful for people who want to spend time alone. Yeah, you can do that and ease your nerves. All right, get this though. Customers will pay about $13 for a half hour. They can also choose between an open or closed casket. Have you ever been inside of a casket?
No,
I have.
no. Have you? And
it's scary only because you know what it's used for, I guess, that sort of thing. And my friend, growing up, he was about, I don't know, 6 years older than me, and he worked at a funeral home, and he would pick me up in the limousine all the time, which is kind of cool.
The hearse?
Well, the hearse and the limousine. They picked me up, which everybody thought I had a limousine, which was kind of cool. But he had a casket, and it does freak you out. There's something about it. I think just because it's different than just laying in a box. And I would go into a cardboard box and I had a problem with it.
I heard somebody tell the story about that phrase "Saved by the Bell." Have you ever heard that story?
Other than the TV show.
I don't know exactly if this is true or not, but I thought it was
I know what you're
interesting.
saying, yes.
Where back in the day when people passed away, maybe they weren't all the way dead. They put them in the coffin, put them in the ground, and some of them would actually still be alive. So they decided to start giving people bells in case, for whatever reason, they woke up in the casket, they could ring the bell and get help and get,
All right, well, I'm putting
saved.
one of those in mine.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a string on a bell, but maybe like some kind of button. Somewhere, hopefully with a battery that lasts a very, very long
Get
time.
one of those that sounds like the flight, the ding dong for the seatbelts.
Yeah, I'll open it up and a flight attendant will be there. Yes, can I help you?
Stay with us. We're back right after this.
From the biggest pop culture moments to the stories you'll be sending to the group chat, El Flash Latino brings the energy, the attitude, and the savor every single time.
Saludos a todos, yo soy Gisela Bouvier.
Y yo soy Fabián Marcano y le damos la bienvenida a El Flash Latino.
With Fabian and Gisela serving up laughs, hot takes, and pure personality, you never know what they'll say next in whichever language comes out first.
Pero we're in Spanish. Yo soy Isis. There, from
Jump into the show that celebrates culture, comedy, and all things Spanglish. El Flash Latino.
Let's find out what you need to binge watch this weekend. Jackson, what do you got for script for the weekend?
This is one of my new favorites. My pick for the weekend is The Madison on Paramount Plus.
Mine is not a family designed to withstand tragedy.
The worry is what you do next.
I know you are hurting. We are all hurting.
I'm 65 years old. I have a very small window to feed this. Wanna go fishing?
I don't know how.
Neither do I. But men do it drunk. So how
Wow.
Another hit from Taylor Sheridan, who just continues to crank out one hit after the other. He is dialed in to the TV pulse of America.
He knows the formula for sure.
Yes.
And one of the things I love, as you look at this right here, is his DP, the director of
Oh.
photography. And I mean, first you got the landscape. All right, you got New York there, but it's out there in Montana.
Yeah,
right?
Montana.
It's unbelievable, which all his shows do just that.
And how great to see Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. More and more every day, I love that guy.
He's, you think about somebody who has been in the business since a child and that you never had, you'd think he'd be some kind of drug addict or whatever. Not the case at all. He actually just went out 43 years, I believe it is, he and Goldie Hawn have been together, not married, but together. All right, moving forward here, as we tell you, of course, if you're looking for some fun, some smart, weird, interesting hospital humor, maybe a little unhinged, got your next binge locked in. It's St. Dennis. It's streaming now on Peacock.
Push! Oh, welcome to Earth. Oh, you lucky little baby. You just plopped out into St. Dennis's new birthing center. If that was gross, leave it out.
All right, St. Dennis is a mockumentary about a chaotic hospital staff just trying to survive the day. It has Wendy McClendon-McCovey, David Allen Greer, Allison Tolman as well. Fast, awkward, really funny. You can watch it on NBC, but also on Peacock.
That does it for us. Peek it, everybody.
Bye-bye, y'all.